Hi, I'm here with John Edwards and Paulo Garcia. They are the lead designers of the game that I just saw a demo of, Mortal Kombat. So I'd just like to ask you guys, give us the rundown on what is new and exciting about this Mortal Kombat game.
Well, this time around we're trying to go back to kind of our roots. MK 1, 2, and 3 is kind of everyone's favorites, they're classics. So really going back to the 2D style gameplay. I mean, the graphics are in 3D, but all the gameplay is 2D this time around. So projectiles are back now. They're way more powerful. They factor more into gameplay. All like the classic kind of 2D gameplay action that everyone kind of expects from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's what I got from looking at the demo. A really back to basics approach. It looked like a lot of hard hitting, and it looks like they were returning finally to bringing a lot of really hard hitting and gory detail to the game. Because the finishing moves I saw were absolutely brutal, and I think that's what was missing from Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, which was kind of a PG-13 rated Mortal Kombat. And to me, no offense to you guys, it didn't really feel like Mortal Kombat when there wasn't anybody getting killed. You know what I mean? And I guess that was a problem with DC. But I think that's a really intriguing focus that you guys are going back to what makes Mortal Kombat Mortal Kombat. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it is. Also, going back to 2D, that's let us put more details in the backgrounds, and you can definitely tell when you look at it. There's a lot more like polygons in the background, a lot more particle effects going on, and overall, we wanted the game to play faster than any previous Mortal Kombat game.
Right, and so what can we expect to see in terms of are there any new characters? Are there any new fighting styles or anything like that? Just give us a brief rundown of that.
Yeah, so everyone's fighting style this time around is custom to them. So there's no reusing of moves or anything like that. Everything is completely customized to their personality. So Johnny Cage has a very cocky fighting style. It's more based on kind of rush down. Other characters might have more of a grappler style. Some people be projectile characters. So yeah, we're really trying to get that personality of all the characters into the gameplay.
Yeah, I got that. The other thing I also noticed was there was some new moves that were like almost these brutality style moves. Like in the middle of the game, it would kind of stop the action, freeze down, and you would see almost like in Romeo Must Die, like the X-ray vision where you'd see the guy punch him in the spleen and rip out his intestines or poke him in the eyes and stuff like that. What is that?
Yeah, it's something we're pretty happy about. We've introduced this time around a super meter, which is not new to fighting games, but kind of new to Mortal Kombat. So the X-ray attacks is kind of what we're tentatively calling them. Right. Like you said, it shows off all kind of crazy internal damage, and all those are kind of themed out and customized to the characters that actually have them. And they're basically kind of like the most powerful attack Mortal Kombat's ever had. So you want to burn up, your entire super meter for one just big hard-hitting attack. That's the X-ray attack.
Okay, just a couple more questions. What about online play? Are there what can we expect to see in terms of online play? Just in general.
We're gonna have our same kind of lobby system we've had in the past, but we're definitely gonna add new features to those fighting games. We're gonna have spectating where people are actually gonna be able to see matches as they're going on, and we're gonna have the same leaderboards we've had before. And we're also playing around with being able to tweak the game online after it's shipped out.
And I know one of my personal favorite parts of Mortal Kombat, and you might laugh at this, but I always really like the story mode. I don't know why, because it was always Mortal Kombat exists in this really, really kind of funny world where all these problems are resolved and everyone's got their own backstory, and so you always kind of want. It's kind of funny, but you always want to see how everyone's story ends up. Where does this fall into the Mortal Kombat? Because it's a really convoluted, all these games they tie together, with the DC Universe and stuff like that. Where does this fall into in terms of the Mortal Kombat storyline, if at all?
No, it does. Yeah, you're right. The Mortal Kombat it's had the mythos is just very complete. So kind of the storyline of this time around is right after Armageddon, Raiden kind of realizes that things are going bad and he's about to be defeated by Shao Kahn. And so he sends a middle message back in time to himself at the Mortal Kombat 1 tournament. And this is kind of a retelling of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 with the knowledge that Raiden knows now from the future.
So they're going back to Mortal Kombat 1 to fix what went wrong. I love that. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much all the questions I had for you. Is there anything else you'd like to add for Mortal Kombat?
It comes out in April of next year.
We can see this in stores in April of next year. So thank you, Paulo and John. I'm sorry for very briefly. I mean a lot of people today. So thank you. This is Spoony with the designers from NetherRealm for Mortal Kombat. We're out. Is it weird that my favorite part of every Mortal Kombat game is the completely insane storyline? Why is that? Well, Mortal Kombat's a series that's really been struggling to find its identity and its place in a world no longer shocked by video game violence. It's never really been known for its rewarding combat system, game, you know, people who have all the special moves memorized tend to win. Now that applies to a lot of games, but my point is that Mortal Kombat went through a long phase of experimentation and none of it really worked. This new game, like Duke Nukem Forever, goes right back to the foundations, discards the weird fighting techniques, weapons, and clunky 3D arena maneuvering, and focuses on making the fighting system seem cinematic, impactful, and painful. Also back are the fatalities and the gore, turned up to 11. Injuries and damage to the fighters is persistent on their bodies as the fight continues, probably way too much, where at the end both men are probably going to be covered in blood and fist-sized contusions. The X-ray attacks I mentioned before are somewhat like Marvel vs. Capcom super moves, but look at this. Reptile plunges his fingers into Sub-Zero's eyes and through his brain, and he survives that? The entire crowd actually started booing when that happened because, really, the fight should have been over at that point. There's another moment where Sub-Zero freezes his fucking spleen in his fist and crushes it, and of course, the fight continues. But honestly, it does look like a lot of fun, and just like Duke Nukem Forever, we haven't really seen a Mortal Kombat game like this since the Super Nintendo. Maybe going back to basics is exactly what this series needs. Mortal Kombat is scheduled for release on March 1st, 2011.